potential ban coming up here again, which we've heard about in the past. But I
Well,
don't know.
speaking of social media's sites, yes.
So what's going on with that? Because I haven't looked into that too much. I know they had talked about banning it in the past whenever Trump was in office the first time, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
things have changed though. Things have changed since then. First time around, 2016 to 2020 when Trump was in office, he didn't like the national security threat of TikTok. It is owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese corporation, but ultimately all media in China gets funded by the government and is censored by the government for the people. So TikTok, the first time around in the Trump administration, he wasn't a big fan of it. He wanted to get it banned, and Congress started passing some bills to get that in motion. And it kind of got put on the back burner. Nothing ever happened with it until about a year ago, six months to a year ago. The Senate and some Congress people ended up pushing a law through that is going to say it's banned in the United States. It ultimately ended up going through the court system, where they agreed on the date of January 20th, with a few exceptions of which I'm sure you heard of, if a United States corporation buys it, or if they just dilute the company and it's not in the United States anymore. So that's kind of the two options we had, and it's looking like as of right now that it's going to get diluted at the United States. There is some people that have shown interest. I saw a new front runner coming to the mix. I don't know if you saw this,
who?
but but the front runner is Mr. Elon Musk himself to buy TikTok, is what I've
Musk,
been
bro.
seeing. Also, Trump has flipped his position on it as well. So he was kind of against TikTok in the beginning, but as we know, he kind of used social media and TikTok and different platforms during the election to get elected. So I think he's opened up to the idea of it. But again, it's going to be a lot of work that I think he doesn't even want to deal with right now. So it's kind of he's pushing it out. He's kind of trying to find investors, people maybe that will buy it, that will save it. I know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, who's big on TikTok, also is looking to maybe purchase it. But in terms of social media and what TikTok actually provides is TikTok actually, and I've learned this firsthand, TikTok Shop has actually provided so many people with reliable income to this point. So there's over 1 million people that use TikTok Shop to make money and as an affiliate. So that's kind of what they're thinking of, trying to save people kind of a new way to make money online with digital e-commerce and making video formats and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think, I don't think TikTok is a terrible idea to have. Maybe the brain rot side of it, but from in like a free market sense, people being able to build a small business and then just go on TikTok and post their products, from if you make your content good, millions of people to see, is a game changer for a lot of people, and a lot of small companies can make a lot of money doing this the correct way. Um, but yeah, there's just some ties they got to tie up here in the next 5 days. But you might be seeing TikTok get banned in the United States January 20th.
Right. And the thing that you said about TikTok and being able to make money on there, that was the first social media platform where virality was so accessible to everyone. And it just has to do with the algorithm. Whatever they did with that algorithm, they just made it so accessible to everybody that everybody pretty much had a chance to go viral if he had a good video. And that wasn't something that you saw on other social media sites, on Instagram, on YouTube, on all these other different platforms. It seems like, not seems like, it just certainly was much more difficult to actually get something to go viral. And so that was, in my opinion, why TikTok had blown up so much originally, because people realized, oh shit, you could just go over the TikTok and next thing you know, you got a fucking million followers. Well, if you have a
Yeah.
million followers, that's, what is that? That's marketing. That's advertising money. Now you got sponsorship deals. Now you got companies coming to you saying, "Hey, promote this, promote that." You can do yourself, build your own company, build your own business, sell your own product. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, geez, dude, look at the fucking OnlyFans girls. A lot of the OnlyFans girls were on TikTok, went viral, and they get all these dudes, these hornballs, to go sign up to their OnlyFans page because of their
Yeah.
TikTok. It's
Post the link in the bio and they go in and just buy the OnlyFans.
boom, boom, boom. All right, and gentlemen, you better not have a single motherfucking subscription to any of those girls. But
No.
the other thing with TikTok, that, so one of the guys that we had went to college with, um I'm not sure if you ever had this conversation with him, but I know when he came to visit Arizona, we had actually went out to go eat with him, and we're talking about TikTok. And in the line of work that he's in, he knows also the things that TikTok does or the companies in China do to manipulate the audience in the United States. Okay.
Mm.
So there's a form of mental warfare that takes place on TikTok. And this is also another incentive for the government to want to either have a US company buy TikTok or ban it, because TikTok in the United States is so much more degenerate than TikTok in China. Okay, so TikTok in the United States, as everybody knows, if you're on there, it's fucking brain rot, like Bobby said. It's you're dancing, girls shaking ass, guys doing dumb shit. It's just fucking brain rot, mindless, numb, fucking scrolling, waste of time, waste of energy. That's done by design. And the amount of data farming that happens on TikTok is also by design. It's so egregious, so what's the proper word for it? It's so invasive, the amount of data collection that they do from TikTok, that was a big reason that the US companies wanted to ban it too, or the US government wanted to ban it too, because it was just so outrageous, the things that they were doing to the US consumer base. So I don't know if you've heard that before, but about the mental warfare they try to inflict on the US.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of comes back to the algorithm itself. It's the videos that the algorithm is trained to push out. And like you said, it's going to push out a lot of that degenerate stuff from, nonsense, violence, stupid stuff, girls half naked, whatever it is. But even the good content, there is a lot of good content on TikTok as well, but it's just not going to get the reach that some of the degenerate stuff gets. Like you said, people back in the day could get on TikTok, post the stupidest stuff and have 1 million followers in 6 months. At the beginning of TikTok, I think things have changed now with the algorithm. It's you're not able to kind of do that unless you're posting like 3, 4 times a day good content like we try to do on YouTube, which I think is pretty much all the social media's algorithm at this point. They want to see consistency, they want to see good content. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. In 2017, 18 on TikTok when it first came out, it was you could just post a video of you taking shit on the toilet and you could have 500,000 views. Literally, you could. But it's funny you bring that up because actually last night when I was reading into some of this stuff, the Chinese have another app and it's called the Red Book, and it's one that nobody knew about here in the United States. And I guess the Americans, looming the TikTok shutdown, wanted to get on another app, and so they went on this Redbook app, which is a Chinese app, and all the Chinese people are pissed off because they're like, all the Americans bringing their degeneracy onto the app, like just making these crazy videos. Because, like you said, and it's not like that, like the way they do it. They probably use it more like an Instagram or something, like just posting their pictures, posting their life. But for the Americans, it's like comedy and some crazy stuff that they post on there. So Redbook is another one that they use that the Americans are getting involved in.
Yeah, I've never heard of Red Book, but yeah, that just shows you what they can do with these apps, because people don't think that this is the ignorance of Americans, and that's why people in the U.S. have to understand it's a lot more than just you know there's a lot more at stake than just having to have this inclusive culture where everybody's soft and everybody gets a participation trophy and everybody's woke and nice. There's a lot more at stake than that, because there are other superpowers in the world who don't give a Frenchman's fuck about the US, okay? And when they see people in the US have this woke mindset, weak mindset, brain rot, everything's a joke, no, nothing's a big deal, they fucking love that. Because countries like China, what are they doing? Well, they're sending over shit like TikTok so people can act degenerate on TikTok in the US. And what do you think that does to the children of the people in the United States? It brings down their IQ. It wastes their time and energy. It puts them in it literally destroys their ability to think properly. So they can't concentrate or focus on something for more than fucking 5 seconds because the algorithms destroyed the way that their mind works. So you think, well, why would China want to do something like that? Well, if you can destroy the cognitive ability of the youth in the United States and waste their fucking time, well, while all the Chinese kids are in school doing their fucking math equations and shit, and then they're going on TikTok and seeing people doing math because it's fucking completely different in China. What do you think? How do you think their children are going to perform? They're going to be a lot more disciplined, a lot more competent, much more intelligent than the people in the United States. So this is real warfare. Warfare doesn't just involve you going into a country with guns and fucking killing people.
Mm-mm.
No, there's mental warfare. There's bio warfare. There's electrical warfare. So, if they send a fucking EMP and shut down the power grid, like there are different ways for countries to attack and infiltrate the United States and slowly over a long enough period of time dismantle the establishment and erode the ability of the people to basically be educated and continue to innovate and continue to be great. All they have to do is play the long game. They don't have to come in and invade the United States through military force. They can just send us TikTok and all the kids become fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great point, and it's really is. It is the long game because if they know what their long-term plans are and they're sending you TikTok and they're just like, all right, just go crazy on it for the next 20 years, see what happens. I mean, if they have some plan in mind that they're going to lower the IQ of the youth and attention spans and ADHD is on the rise, that's going to be a win in their book. So yeah, I agree definitely that it is a different type of warfare and challenge that we need to come up with. And I think we've seen some things like some states passing laws that you can't be on social media until you're like 14 years old, 16 years old. Florida, I know they just did it here in the last election. We got the vote on that. So there's different things, especially when you're raising your kids too. You can't raise your kids on an iPad. You can't raise your kids, just give them the iPad, let them go crazy on it, scrolling TikTok while they're young. It's those are super developmental years that you don't get back. So it's super. I mean, when we were kids, um, I was outside all the time. I'd come home from second grade, third grade, and I'd go on my pedal bike until the sun went down, and I came home, and then that was my afternoon. I didn't have a phone then, and I didn't want to be inside on the computer really. I was outside. I was on my bike, just doing shit, just doing playing in the woods. And then when it came home at night, maybe I'd jump on the Xbox when I was young and get some screen time, play some video games. But I was young. I was a kid. So as you get older and as your kids develop from 8, 9, 10 into the teenage years is when I think it's super critical to really monitor them online, impose of like especially Instagram and stuff like self-image is so important. So I just think social media is very got to be on the front of everyone's mind, especially for younger kids that for people that have kids that are going to be growing up. For us as well, like people our age, it's just don't waste time on social media. If you're going to use it as a tool that can make you more money, that could make your brand, your image greater, as opposed to doing a lot of nonsense on there, doom scrolling,
Think
as the kids say.
think about the tragedy of that. How everything we used to do as kids was outside. Because I remember that because I have two younger brothers who are considerably younger than me. So there was certainly a gap in the generation in terms of what they did compared to what I did. Every fucking day after school, what would I look forward to? Grab the hockey stick, get the hockey net, boom, fucking street hockey with all the kids in the neighborhood. Street hockey used to be the shit, bruv.
Mm-hmm.
Every day out on the street, fucking playing street hockey, and I would, but to the point where I was taking the shit serious. I'm fucking buying my own stick, dude. I got my own balls. I got the fucking net in the basement so I can practice. Dude, I was taking that shit serious, and it was every single day. And dude, the fucking stories you have from growing up playing outside, fucking around with the hometown kids, dude, like that's the best. Now, in my neighborhood that I grew up in, other neighborhoods that I've now had houses in, etc., I don't ever see that shit. Like, rarely do I see kids out there fucking around, even just beating each other up, bro. At least go outside and beat each other up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking do something, bro. Call each other
Yeah,
names, call each
go
other
punch the
gay.
neighbor kid or something.
Yeah, dude, go fucking, get all the neighbors and call them gay or something, dude. Just fucking, like, do something, bro. And, but nobody does that anymore. They just sit inside and they fucking, I mean, listen, we get screen time too. Absolutely, 100%. But when you're a kid, the parents that have their kids on the fucking iPad because they have no control, no ability to discipline their children is outrageous to me. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh well, you don't know what it's like. No, motherfucker. 99.9% of parents in all of human history didn't have iPads for their kids, and they managed to raise and have those children survive those periods of time. So you don't need an iPad for your fucking kid. So how about you teach them some fucking discipline? How about you discipline them when they're acting out and show them how to act without having a fucking screen right in front of their face from the time they're a toddler? Do you think that's healthy for a child's brain to have a fucking screen in front of them from the time they're 2, 3 years old? Because you don't want to feel like distracting them or keeping them engaged on whatever it is that you guys are trying to do. Say, no, get your shit together. Don't have a fucking, bro. I will never do the fucking iPad when they're that young.
No.
Fuck no.
It's sad because a lot of parents are like, oh, the kid's crying. He wants the iPad and he won't stop crying, so I give it to him. Okay, well, make him cry then. Like he'll cry all night because he's not getting it. But a lot of people, they're just gonna cave in, give him the iPad, and then the kid goes back to being happy, scrolling on whatever, doing whatever he's doing. Like you said, you got to set discipline in them young, not give it to them, and then see what happens. They're gonna cry. Kids cry. That's what happens.
Yep.
Just don't let them bully you into doing it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You're the fucking adult. I hear this shit all the time now, especially with Western parents and people in fucking America. Bro, I think I told you this before. I don't negotiate with women or children. There's
Yeah.
What is this negotiation that's going on? Oh, they're crying, they want the iPad. All right, just give it to them. What the fuck is this 2-year-old gonna put you in a headlock? What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about, bro? You don't have to give him the iPad. Let him cry, dude. Let him cry. Let him learn that he's not gonna get it. Like, it's this behavior that people reinforce. It's so logical. This is just the mentality of people is so weak in this country. It's so logical not to reinforce poor behavior. If you don't like a certain type of behavior, well, then you don't reinforce it. Well, but I just want to stop, so I'm going to do this. And then you reinforce the behavior, and that just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, because this child now realize whenever they act up and they start crying and screaming and yelling, throwing a fit, oh, that works. I get what I want.
I get the iPad. Yep. Exactly.
It's just like a fucking mouse in a lab. You're just reinforcing the behavior. It's not rocket science. It's like, oh, if I cry and act a fool, I'm going to get what I want. Cool. Let me keep doing that. And this is how you get these adults who act this way. So what's this negotiation going on for? There's no negotiation. No fucking iPad, bruv. Just sit there and cry.
Yeah, it all comes full circle with these apps and everything going on. It's just people have to be smart about it when they're letting kids on it, like, different laws pass 15, 16 years old, as you start becoming a young adult seems more realistic. But you just gotta be smart about it. With the TikTok ban looming, we'll see what happens. Maybe TikTok's on its way out, and we get a little bit of a shift here towards YouTube. Maybe we'll see some views go up from the younger generation who wants to make some money in the Taylor's code, as opposed to getting brain rotted. But it's funny, like you said, like, kids these days don't really play outside. They're not doing anything. They're inside trading crypto. That's what these 12-year-olds are doing these days. They're not out riding their bikes. They're trading shit coins. Yeah, exactly.
The young buck from the rug pull. Hero.